Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm excited to have Deniero B here from Canada, not too far from me here in this wintry Minnesota. It's kind of a chilly day today, but Deniero B, he does coaching, has a podcast, Up Your Game. Check that out, as well as a digital marketing agency, Gold Rush Social. So I just really appreciate you taking time out of your day, your busy day, to be here with me today. Thank you, Deniero.
Hi, Nate. Thank you for having me, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And I always love to kick off the show with this question. So, Championship Leadership's the name of the podcast, and it
Yeah.
was a name that a friend of mine actually recommended to me. And at first, I didn't know if I liked it. Just kind of not two words that normally get put together, but I've grown to like it, of course. And so I always like to ask, like, what do you think of, or what's present for you when you hear Championship Leadership? What does that mean to you?
So I think that when I think about that name, I think about the fact that there's a lot of people out there that consider themselves leaders. But at the same time, maybe they consider themselves leaders because they got maybe a promotion or because they just opened a business. But leadership is a lot more than that. And once you actually get in the trenches, you start working with people, you start building a business or try to reach out to other individuals to create good, professional bonds. You do realize that leadership is a lot more than just telling people what to do or organizing your day or organizing someone else's day. I mean, there's so many ideas out there that get thrown in the game, and it becomes almost like a commodity. Ideas are like a commodity. So at the end of the day, if you have someone that actually is able to organize all that, get people to buy in those ideas and build something that helps like the greater good. So at the end of the day, to me, that's what championship leadership means.
Yeah, that's interesting perspective, and I love it. And it's especially today, social media, like you said, it's information is almost like this commodity, and there's so many people fighting for your attention. And I mean, that's what you do, right? You're building your brand. As a coach, you're helping others to do the same thing, communicate this message, and to, in a way, stand out amongst so many other people that are doing the same thing. It's difficult, and it wasn't probably as difficult maybe 5 even years ago, 10 years ago, definitely, but now today it's a whole different ball game. And yeah, how do you see yourself being a leader amongst that pack and really differentiating yourself?
So it's a great question. So what I noticed when I first started doing what I do right now on Instagram with my podcast and everything else, I realized that a lot of people are out there trying to sell dreams, right? So they're going online and telling people that they can make money online or that they can achieve anything they
Yeah.
want in life, which is, in a way, a lot of people want that from life, but what they also don't realize is that if all they care about is making money and building a business, they're going to be neglecting several other areas in their lives. And what I decided to do with my page to differentiate myself from everyone else is to take more of a holistic approach. So I'm looking into mental health because I know, from personal experience, that if your mind's not working properly and you're not in the right, place, it doesn't matter how successful your business is. It doesn't matter how much money you're making on a monthly basis. You're not going to be able, to bring it forward. But second of all, you're not going to enjoy anything in life. And that's what I've been doing. And it really has worked very well because I realized that a lot of people that follow me have the same issues. They've tried to scale a business, start a business, or even work full time and get a promotion, but they were just hitting a ceiling and they didn't know why. And again, mental health, stress reduction, being able to really deal with your feelings and deal with your emotions on a daily basis so that you can not suppress them, but use them as fuel to move forward. I think that's really what helped me stand out from the crowd.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've on Instagram more than anything, probably I've noticed a lot of the younger generation, like early 20s, e-commerce, like they're flashing big dollars and they're in around mansions and private jets and expensive cars. And I have a heart, the BS meter gets really high, and I'm like, I don't know what to believe anymore nowadays, and to see some of it, and obviously it must resonate with a certain particular crowd, but right, to me, I'm just like, yeah, it's cool, but it goes to the piece of what you're saying too, like what's it really all about? And to me, it's not all about that. It's all about like, why are we doing this? Am I making a difference? And am I creating the lifestyle that I really want? Which for me, you know, married with kids, is I want to be there for my family and for my children. I want to be able to travel and create experiences and just really spend a lot of time with them.
100%.
That's
Yeah.
sounds like kind of the vision you have for yourself too, which is it's not as appealing or sexy. And it's and you know, I don't know, it's just,
Here's the thing. This is what I think. I've seen a lot of people online, and I'm not, hating on them. Actually, they
no,
are
not at all.
marketing geniuses. Don't get me wrong, because I
Yes.
know that the honey tastes better than, anything else, right? So like you put the honey out there, you put a, like a Lamborghini or a stack of, $100 bills, and people will be like, oh my God, I can get there. So that's okay in a way to kind of, quote unquote, like lure people in your programs and whatnot. If that is what it takes, get to that level, to get to that point, that's fine. What I'm saying though, once you start a course, once you start coaching people, once you teach people how to, move forward in life, I don't think that the Lamborghini is going to bring joy after, like even after a few months, to be honest with you, but for sure not after 10, 15, 20 years. Because otherwise everybody that had money would be the happiest people in the world. But we know very well, but from experience, that there's people in New York City, for example, lawyers dying at lunch break of a heart attack because they're working too hard or they're working on something they're not passionate about. Whereas you got people in countries that are, like poor, or countries where like the economy is not as good, and you walk down the street and you see people like with a smile, like literally like this, super happy. For people that are not seeing me smile, but I have a very big smile on my face right now. So like that really shows that at the end of the day, yes, like money, a lot of money solves one problem, which is the money problem. Then it doesn't matter if you have so many other problems, you still need to work towards solving those issues. And we're human beings, we're not cash registers. So it's, like the money problem is not the only one that we have. And that's what I tell all my clients all the time. And as you said, traveling and, creating experiences for your family, they may not be appealing right away. And that's the thing, when I make my videos on Instagram, or when I'm on my podcast, yes, I'm not driving my, Lamborghini or something. But when I do travel, when I do have those experiences, to me, they count a lot more than all those marketing, strategies, basically.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong. Like I like nice things, and I'm not even against nice cars and all of that other stuff too. But yeah, it's a tough game for me as a coach, and because it's, whether I like it or not, you need a presence. You need to be in front of people. You need to like show that you're leading by example, living the life that you say that you're going to, which I think is definitely an attribute to being a championship level leader. And just consistently showing up and playing that game. And so I just keep telling myself that you don't have to do it necessarily one way, right? And again, I think that's, again, when we look at championship leadership, I think the championship leaders are the ones that are actually maybe bucking the trend of what everybody else is doing, and they're willing to go in a different direction to really be like, hey, like I can see this clearly, this vision that they have, and they're willing to do some of the things that not everybody else is doing.
Yeah, for sure. Just to give you an example, right now, my plan in the next few years is to start creating these online business incubators for people that live in countries like Italy, where technology is there, of course, but they're not using it to, start and grow businesses as much as we're using it in North America. So that is my way of considering myself, like a championship leader in a way, because I am looking to really help the people that don't even get to see those commercials of the Lamborghinis, or even if they see them, right, they're like, wait a minute, this is completely out of, like my reality. So there's so much more that we can do online to help people succeed, really.
Yeah. So tell us more about that, and where did that come from for you, and more so even just like what is it? What are these business incubators?
So the idea started, I think about in 2014. So it's a long, of course, it's a long-term project. And the reason why this started is because first off, I was completely unaware of the online business world up to 2013. And before that, I was just, a music producer, worked a full-time job, had a great time, going out and partying and whatnot. And I really kind of felt stuck because all I could see in front of me was this dead-end job, a sales job that I was at.
Mm-hmm.
And when I started seeing for the first time that people were creating sustainable business and working online and really living a life of freedom, as you said, traveling, not having to worry about the 9-to-5 rat race in a way,
Yeah.
I said, you know what, this is amazing. And traveling between Rome and Toronto back and forth already back then just for a vacation to Rome, I'd be like, no one knows about this in Italy. And the craziest thing that I noticed is that I would travel to small towns and I'd see amazing food getting sold, like amazing art and all this stuff. And people were complaining in Italy because they're like, there's really not a big demand for my products. And I'm like, well, the reason why there's not a lot of demand for your products is because you're selling it exactly where you make it in your little town. Of course, there's not going to be demand in a town that's 1,000 people. Like once your, parents and your family members and your friends buy it, that's
Right.
it.
Yeah.
So one day I had this friend of mine that was selling honey. And he makes honey with the trees near there, like with the bees right there. And then he was selling it down the street. And I was like, that a honey, container this big, like maybe like half a kilo, which is about a pound for you guys in the US. I was like, you can sell it for like, I don't know, let's say $15. And my friend's just there, like his jaw dropped. And he's like, what do you mean? And I was like, yeah, because you can leverage the internet to sell products all over the world. And that's when I said, you know what? I moved to Canada when I was 19, 20 years old. And I said, this is what I want to do when I quote unquote grow up,
Right.
like when I actually have a business that can make a difference, I want to bring this knowledge and the ability to create online businesses to small business owners in Italy. And of course, then the idea was like, okay, how can I make that happen? So a couple of years ago, I was fortunate enough to work for a nonprofit organization in Canada that helps at-risk youth get jobs in their field of interest or open businesses that you're passionate about. And this organization is called Youth Employment Services and is being used as a benchmark for several other organizations across the globe that provide a similar service. So I was fortunate enough to actually work with the managers that had created the program. And now what I'm trying to do is basically bring this system, very similar system, to Italy and start with a small, maybe brick and mortar office, and really just get youth or even people, like 20 to 30 years old, start their businesses online. So they already have a product, they already have an idea. It's just that they may not have the right market to show these products to and teach them how to do it. Now, you also have to understand that Italy is one of the few countries in Europe where people don't speak English very well, unfortunately. I mean, you go to Sweden, you go to Germany, you go to Spain, everybody speaks English as a second language, but still very good. Unfortunately, Italy, it's a bit more closed off when it comes to learning other languages. So that's going to also be a component of my business incubator to help people communicate in an effective way with everyone. And that's basically it. So as a business incubator, what we do, we take an idea, we make sure that, of course, it's a viable idea, and we make sure that the person that wants to join the business incubator is motivated enough to do so. And once we have all the pieces, we just help them and enable them to run a successful online business. And that's it.
That's incredible, man. How many people do you see yourself working with at a time inside of that?
You know what? That's the thing. Like right now, my idea is to have one small business incubator and maybe get like about 5 to 10 people tops at the beginning. Is the project scales, the way that I'm looking at doing this is probably to start injecting, capital into these small ventures, and take, of course, like a percentage, maybe like 10% or something of the profits in the long run. So as that money comes in, I will start investing in more and more probably space, offices, and so on and so forth. So to the point where I'm hoping to really make a big difference like countrywide, like across Italy, because I know there's amazing made in Italy products, and like it's famous all over the world. Like the branding itself, made in Italy alone is an asset, basically.
It is.
So I think that there is really like the sky's the limit at that point. So I'm really motivated to take this to the next level.
Yeah, that's great. It's almost like, I don't know if you're familiar with the Shark Tank, but it's like you're gonna have your own little Shark Tank.
Exactly, 100%.
And you just you're helping a lot of people that wouldn't otherwise be able to do it on their own necessarily, or wouldn't maybe do it on their own. It's not that they can't, but I
It's
love
just
it.
like the thing about what it is, man. Like the economy in Italy and the politics in Italy have been just in chaos for so many years. And I have friends of mine that are 30, 35 years old, and they're still looking for a job. They're still not, they still haven't really like put together a family because they feel like they can't. And that really breaks my heart in a way. And it breaks my heart not because it breaks my heart more so because I know that it doesn't have to be that way. All they need is just a bit of knowledge and motivation to move forward. And I know I can give that to them.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit more about you, like your story. How did you get to where you are today? How did you get to Danny B and the coaching, the podcast, the digital marketing agency? Like, what path led you to where you are today?
That's awesome. Great question. So as I said, I by trade I'm a producer and DJ, and for the longest time, about 7 years or more, 10 years actually, I was always down in the software, making music and tweaking knobs and doing all that stuff. I got to the point where I got really, really sick and tired of actually playing shows at nighttime and living the nightlife that way. I decided to settle down, got married, or at least like at that point I was getting engaged, and I was like, you know what, I need to put this energy that I have inside and like this knowledge of like a softer knowledge to a good use in a different way. So I started messing around with Shopify, with Amazon Seller Central, with Google Ads, Facebook Ads. And because, like I'm very happy when I'm sitting down and I'm, again, working on a process, I found out that, I really enjoyed it and it was making me money, a lot more than making music really at that point. And I fell in love with the process. That's the thing. What I tell my my one-on-one coaching clients as well is, like you need to, of course, like what you sell and what you're doing. You need to believe in what you sell. But most importantly, you need to fall in love with the process of building a business. And that's what I realized I was really passionate about. So my thing was I started with Shopify, then again, Google Ads, Amazon. I got amazing results on Amazon that really pumped me up, gave me the possibility to quit my full-time job. And then because of my great results, I started attracting small business owners that wanted to do the same thing. So that's when I started doing the one-on-one coaching for Amazon FBA, as well as now, like I have a full service agency that builds websites and drives traffic to the websites with Google Ads and Facebook Ads. And then here I am today, trying to share my success through my podcast and through my Deniero B Instagram page and website.
Yeah. So who were some of who were some people in your life, and maybe they haven't even directly been in your life, but could also be someone that indirectly that you just looked up to as a coach and a mentor, or someone that's really helped you to get to really get you to where you are inside of your life, who are the one or two people that pop to mind? Like usually there's one or two people that just are really super
for sure. So the interesting thing is that I am the person, like as I said, after I stopped playing in the nightlife in Toronto, I wouldn't say I had no friends left. I mean, like I had a group of friends, but they were all interested in different things. So I couldn't really look at my friend group for that type of motivation. So I started reading and doing online courses. So that was my initial strategy. I knew that I didn't really have a circle that I could count on from that perspective. So I created my own virtual circle. You know, the usuals online. I mean, there's tons, you know, the Grant Cardones. Like I actually honestly thoroughly enjoyed some Tai Lopez courses as well, even though some people, and that's the thing, we just talked about, you know, Lamborghinis and all that stuff. I do think it's it's a marketing strategy that works most times. Actually, first time that I watched this video, I clicked on it, and then there was a program called the 67 Steps that had nothing to do really with Lamborghinis and all that stuff. It was actually about mental health and like perseverance and all that stuff. And I took it and I thought it was great. After that, I personally think that his courses are a bit too overpriced for what you can get. You can get the same knowledge on a Udemy course for $20. But that's the thing. It was what really got me fired up at the beginning. And to be honest, man, after that, it was just like, you know, it started from, again, like any course I could get my hands on, I did. And personally, though, I think that my wife's motivation, because she's a professional athlete and she's, you know, the type A that always wants to get stuff done, wakes up early in the morning, doesn't settle for anything less than perfection almost. That really motivated me as well, because, you know, you can't really stay, you know, behind and watch her do all that stuff, right? So it was definitely, that definitely was the big turning point. And, you know, getting married, or at least getting engaged, and knowing that I was with someone that was in the same direction, the same path that I was going on, really made a huge difference in my life.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, that's incredible when you're aligned with somebody like that. That has the big dreams, goals, hopes, desires, right? I mean, it's just easier to accelerate that for yourself as well. How long have you been married?
So I've been actually married for just over a year, but we've been together for quite a bit. You know, we got engaged after probably just like maybe a few months, maybe a year or something after we got after we met, just because I knew that was the right person and I knew that we're both going in the right direction. But yeah, we've been together for about like 4 or 5 years, something like that now.
Awesome, man. What's I love to talk about this too, is, and I mentioned maybe a little bit earlier about, you know, the championship level leader that's willing to kind of go a different path than everyone else. But was there a turning point in your life where you could have very easily not chosen to go the path that you're on now, or something that if you had decided to kind of go the direction that everybody else was going, versus, you know, have the courage to take the path less traveled, if you will, that your life could look very different? Like, is there a moment or two that you can immediately think of that, like,
well, to be honest with you, it's funny you say that, because I feel like as an entrepreneur, every morning you have the choice to just take the path back to, you know, like safety, right? I mean, like, I know, because when you juggle so many different things, it's easy to get overwhelmed sometimes and think, you know, like, why am I doing this? And you see people that are like, you know, just comfortably at their maybe 9-to-5 job, or even like with a lot of these new jobs, there are remote jobs. I had a friend of mine that's been working remotely for a company. So it's a nice, you know, balance between working for someone, but also having the freedom of being wherever you want and traveling the world. I'm not going to lie, I did think about that stuff in the past, but what I realized is that there is some fire burning inside of this purpose of creating these incubators, that I definitely need a lot more capital than just a 9-to-5 job, or, you know, just a remote position, or like a freelance position to make this stuff happen.
Yeah.
So that's what really, you know, motivates me every day. I have an agenda that I use every day, and I create my schedule for the day after the night before, and I do my affirmations and I write my goals and I do all that stuff. And
Yeah.
it really, as long as I do that every day, I haven't really been doubting myself in years at this point. But even when things are hard, it doesn't faze me at all. Back in the day, before I was doing this constant, like mindset work, I did have several times where I was ready to, give up and, go back to my old life. But now it's just, I don't see any way out of, this lifelong journey.
How was the transition for you to this life from the music, the late nights? Like, was that a fairly easy decision for you?
Well, the music and the nightlife, yes, because as I said, I got to the point, and it's funny, I say this to some people that, like they used to party and they do understand what I'm talking about, but I used to do a lot of closing shows, and what I hated the most was walking in an empty club at 5 a.m. with a sticky floor, the sticky floor and the smell of the washrooms when everyone was gone. It really gave me the sense of this, like I was disgusted at a certain point. So that was pretty easy for me to quit. My full-time job was also in a way easy because I was like, well, I don't really like what I'm doing and I don't want to commute in the morning, and I was getting a lot of anxiety and stress from it. So I was like, okay, it's liberating. What was hard in a way at the very beginning was to readjust my budget, because of course, when you're going from working full-time and running a business and then you quit your full-time job, you create this, $3,000-$4,000 void. So at the very beginning, when I was trying to replace that money, I had to reorganize my, my lifestyle, really, like not eating out as much, not going out as much, not buying clothes that I liked or whatever, all that stuff. So in a way it was hard, but the thing is, as I explained, is every single time that I was doubting myself, I would always go back to my original plan, my original goal that I was writing down every day. And it just made it so real, so worth it. And I just kept on pushing. And of course, once I passed that hurdle of replacing my 9-to-5 income, then, I was super happy. And I think that every single person that has tried working for someone and it didn't work out for them, they should start at least once in life, try to start a business, because guess what's going to happen? If it doesn't work out for you, you can go back to the 9-to-5 life and you can put on your resume that you ran a business. And a lot of employers actually look up to people that were able to take care of, invoices, marketing, and all that stuff. They're like, hey, this person is actually a go-getter, someone that wants to expand their knowledge and learn. And I know that's valued in the 9-to-5 life as well. So worst case scenario, you start a business, it doesn't work out, you can go back to, we work, like I live in Canada, you're in the States. I mean, like you're not in a country that doesn't support you at the end of the day. Like you're still going to be able to eat at the end of the day. And so I feel like that's the main issue. People are scared to change because they think that if they fail, there will be the end all be all. There will be failures for the rest of their lives. That's not the case. It's just an experiment. Of course, if you can do it before you have kids and a family, that's better. But even then, with the proper setup, you're going to be able to do it even if you have a family. I've seen people do it successfully, and I think everybody should try it.
Yeah, that's an important message to get out too, right? Because I think for a lot of people, the more you're an entrepreneur, the more you're in the work that we do and the space that we are, I have a hard time because I have a client, he just became a president of like 150 Denny's organizations, a big restaurant chain. And
I know them,
And now he's back in, like, he's got 5,000 employees in these stores. And a lot of them are just the 9-to-5. They're just working for, exchanging time for dollars, literally. And they've been doing it for years and years and years. And their mindset is so much different to what you're explaining and what we're talking about, that they really can't even see it. And, I've been there before. I've done that. And now I'm to the place where I couldn't imagine going back to it. And it's not good or bad. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it is a completely different. And so I think that's important what you say. Like, if they can see that, like, that world will not end if you make that leap, if that's what you want to do, like, and it might not work out, but then you go to something else and you just keep moving, right?
Yeah, 100%. And that's the thing, like people understand that with jobs, they see that they don't like a job for a couple of years or a year, and then they quit their job and they start something else. Sometimes I'm thinking like, why don't you, like if you do have a dream, and that's the thing, like I'm not saying that everyone should be an entrepreneur at all. As a matter of fact, it is something that it's not for everyone. But I'm saying if you feel that way, if you feel stressed out, anxious, if you feel like you're out of place, if you tried different positions and jobs and they all seem to have this sense of, basically that you don't belong, that's a good sign for you to understand, hey, like I don't want to feel like this for the rest of my life. First off, you're probably not going to live that long if you're always stressed out and anxious for the rest of your, like you're probably like 50 or 60 is going to be your last off. But, if you get to that level, and you survive and you retire and you hated 40 years of your life, to me, it's just like crazy to think about it. If you had the chance to try something else.
Yeah. Yeah. Share with me, like, what's a vision for you? Got a good idea of what you're doing and where you're going, but let's just look maybe 5 years, championship level leaders that they got.
Yeah, for sure.
What's our vision for you?
So for sure. So as I said, right now, I'm trying to give out as much content as possible for free to anyone that is interested in what I do. Yeah. And I think that's important because if I start charging for, like this type of general knowledge, I'm not going to move forward as fast as I want. So I'm trying to create this sort of a snowball effect. I definitely want to bring my message to Italy, as I said, even with my Instagram and podcast. Unfortunately, right now, I write everything in English and I speak in English to my audience. So it's not ready yet. So in the next year or two, I want to start looking for people in Italy that are in the same level as me when it comes to clout online, Italian people, start partnering up with them and seeing if we can create content together so that they can take care. I mean, like I was born and raised in Italy, so I do speak Italian, don't get me wrong. But the thing is, there's a lot of stuff that from a business perspective that I think that I want someone else from there that lives there, that it's always lived there to really communicate. Yeah. And once I get to that level, as I said, I'm going to start working with coaching people and helping them succeed. And at the end of the day, what I realized, and I know like some people have huge goals, I do have huge goals as well. I think that's important for me to bring a change, positive change across the whole nation in Italy. And whether it means to get into politics, I don't know, because I am not too fond of the system and how it works. What I realized, and I always tell my friends too, it's like politics is the only place where people sell you things and ideas without giving you an actual resume. I mean, to get a job at McDonald's, they want you to have some experience, but apparently in politics, all you do is just tell people what you want to do and they hire you. Right. So I'm like, how is it possible that I go to a store down the street and I'm like, hey man, I'm going to sell you all the clothes you want. Like, and people be like, oh, that's a good idea. Come and work for me. That's not how it works. You got to have a resume. Right. You got to have some experience, right? Yeah. So what I think is I want to do the opposite. Exactly. It's like I want to first bring positive social change in Italy, make sure that everybody has a fair share to succeed when it comes to online business. And then at that point, what I also want to do is create systems where people can give back to the society. Like if you walk down the streets of Rome, it's a shame to see that, like the beautiful city that's been around for 2,000 years has so many graffitis all over the streets. The streets have garbage on the street because some people don't, just throw garbage on the street. And I'm like, and what happens is I see people complaining about the government. And then I'm thinking, well, the government can only do so much. And let's be honest, if we always wait for the government to do things, we'll live like, waiting because the government is probably not going to do it. Right. So that's the thing. Like I want people to be the change in society that they want to see. And then once I get to the level, if that means that I have to run for politics for like, to maybe to become some sort of like a member of parliament or whatever it is, we'll see. As I said, I'm not too fond of the actual system, but I definitely want to bring positive change across the country. And then from there, we'll see. I mean, I for now, I'm super focused about Italy because that's where I'm from. That's what I really see the problems on a daily basis, basically. But if there's any other country or group of people that would want to be helped or that I can help down the road, I would definitely be interested in doing that as well.
That's awesome. I love that vision, and thank you. Thanks for sharing. It's incredible.
No worries, man.
And man, yeah. What's as we get ready to wrap up here, like what are
Yeah.
one or two things you could leave with the listeners that could really help them? You know, I think we have a similar audience of people listening to this podcast that are looking to help. And so, yeah, what are one or two things you could leave with them that would really benefit them, impact them?
Yeah. So there's two things that I think I can leave actually. First off is we got 24 hours a day. Okay. So the thing is, a lot of people get scared because they think that one day is not enough time to do stuff. When you realize that you actually, if you have a plan and you're hungry enough for that plan, 24 hours, it's plenty of time to do a ton of stuff. I was looking at a biography of the guy that created IKEA, and he literally has in his calendar 10-minute slots, because he's like, whereas other people do an hour here, an hour there, an hour meeting, an hour this. He's like, I don't need an hour. I can do stuff in 10 minutes. So think about that. I mean, if you don't want to do 10-minute slots, that's too much for you. That's fine. But even 15-minute, 20-minute slots. I mean, think about how many 15-minute slots you can have in your calendar to make positive change day in and day out. So that's the first thing that I want to leave my audience and yours with.
Yeah.
The second thing is that motivation is like a match. I've heard that in the past, and I truly believe that. I mean, you light it up, and then if you let it die, it will die, and you won't even realize that it died. And then you're going back to your old ways of doubting yourself, of not doing the work that you're supposed to, of not chasing your dreams. So as long as you keep on lighting that motivation day in and day out with daily podcasts like mine and yours, like reading blogs, like affirmations, creating, like a structured plan with your planner, create a structured days day in and day out. I think that anyone will be able to radically change their life and the life of others if they really understood these 2 points.
Yeah, thank you. Those are both powerful. And what are some ways that, what do you have that you'd like to share? How can people connect with you?
Yeah, for sure.
To get a little bit more about what you're doing.
For sure. So my central hub right now is my website, which is denierob.com. So I can spell it for you guys. So it's DENIEROB.com. So there I have my podcast, my Instagram links to my page. I have my blog posts. I will be sharing my book when it's going to come out soon as well. So if anybody wants to connect with me, that is the best place. They can sign up there. Also, I have a free course that teaches people the basics how to make money online. And that's basically that's it.
I love it. Thank you. And yeah, we'll add that obviously to the show notes as well. What's the name of the book going to be?
It's going to be Up Your Game, actually. So I'm trying to keep it, I'm just going to keep it on brand for now. This is going to be mainly a book about me getting out of my music days, my blurry mind and all this stuff that I didn't know what I was doing with my life. And then basically the change that happened, how it happened, and how can people bring that to their own life.
Awesome, man. I can't wait to get my hands on it. So
awesome.
Thank you again so much, Deniero B, for being here today and spend some time with me, man. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Nate. Have a great day.
You too.